All right, so today we're starting somewhere a little weird, not with some big, flashy mission statement or a huge scientific breakthrough. Nope, we're starting with a digital dead end. You know the one, we've all been there. Let's dig into what happens when that very first connection just breaks. Yeah, this thing. This cold, impersonal, and just, super frustrating message. It's basically a digital wall, right? It's screaming, hey, something's here, but you can't see it. You can't get to it. You definitely can't connect with it. It's pretty much the exact opposite of communication. And that, right there, kicks off the big question for our whole explainer today. What is actually trapped behind this digital wall? What's the story, the service, the identity that this technical glitch is hiding from us? What were we supposed to see?
Well, the answer might surprise you. It's a hospital. Yeah. On the other side of that broken connection is the entire online face of Arka Anugraha Hospital, a place that's all about healing and human connection. You can't get much more of a stark contrast than that, can you?
And here's what's so interesting. The hospital's actual mission is to deliver compassion and precision. It's this warm, human-focused promise, which is totally, completely lost when your first digital handshake is just a blunt database error.
So, okay, let's do what that error message couldn't. Let's go behind that digital wall and really break down how this hospital tries to build its story. We're going to look at how they put it together, piece by piece, to earn the one thing that matters most in healthcare: our trust.
Okay, so the very first and maybe the most critical piece of their story is the human element. They don't lead with fancy tech or big modern buildings. No, they start with the people, with their doctors and their proven expertise. Just look at this number, 45 plus. Now, that's not some random code. That's a career. That's how many years of experience a single surgeon, Dr. Ramesh Makam, has under his belt. And look, when your health is on the line, 4 decades of experience, that's not just a number. That is the first solid brick in building a wall of trust. And that experience, it doesn't just stay in one operating room. Check out this number, 1,600. That is how many surgeons Dr. Makam has trained all over the world. So this isn't just about one person's incredible skill, right? It's about a legacy of teaching, of influence, that basically multiplies that expertise on a global scale. And it's not just him. That depth of experience runs right through the whole team. Dr. Saraswathi Ramesh, for instance, has performed over 3,000 surgeries. When you see a number like that, you have to remember it's not just a statistic. You're looking at thousands of individual patient stories, thousands of successful outcomes. This is how you turn expertise into something tangible, something that earns trust. So what's really key here is that all this individual expertise doesn't just exist on its own, in a vacuum. It's all woven into the very fabric of the hospital, into its founding vision. And that's what creates this powerful legacy of care. And you can really see that vision in action right here. The founders bring together two fields that perfectly complement each other. On one hand, you've got a trailblazer in cutting-edge, minimally invasive surgery. And on the other, an expert in holistic wellness and preventative care. It's this really powerful combination of high-tech intervention and whole-person care. And you know, this wasn't built overnight. This timeline shows a journey that spans more than 30 years. It starts with them delivering pioneering surgical care, then moves to establishing a world-renowned training institute, all leading up to the promise they make to patients today. This whole history is really designed to communicate stability, innovation, and a serious long-term commitment. All right, so how do you take all of that, the individual expertise, that decades-long legacy, and package it up into a clear promise for someone who might be a patient? Well, you combine it all into one single powerful idea: trust. And this is exactly how they do it. They boil everything down into these core promises. Just look at the key words they use: expert, holistic, compassionate, modern. Every single one of those words is a direct appeal to a patient's biggest needs and fears. It's a really smart way to turn the hospital's history into real, tangible benefits for you. And of course, they have to back up that promise with the right infrastructure. And this isn't just a random list of facilities, right? It's presented as a complete system, a whole ecosystem built around the patient. From the second an emergency happens, right through to the final stages of recovery, every step is supported by advanced tech and care. It's all about reinforcing that feeling of safety and reliability. But look, at the end of the day, all the promises and fancy facilities in the world don't mean a thing without some proof. And this is where the story gets real.
We've got a direct quote from a patient, He.N. Ravakumar, and it basically validates everything we've just talked about. He uses the exact same words the hospital does: skilled hands, compassionate approach. That's what makes the marketing feel authentic, like something they've actually earned. So let's just take a step back for a second. Remember where we started, with a cold, broken database error. And just by digging into their story, we've pieced together this incredibly rich and detailed narrative. It's a story of deep expertise, a legacy stretching back over 30 years, and a very carefully built promise of compassionate, modern care. Which kind of leaves us with one final big question. When that first digital handshake does work, this is the story you're supposed to find. And it really makes you think, doesn't it? In this day and age, our first contact with a hospital, a bank, you name it, is almost always online. So, how much of our real-world trust is actually being built or broken by the digital story they decide to tell us?